14-16.
Village of Northfield Resolution 2014-16, an emergency resolution authorizing the mayor to accept a gift of 3 lots on Heights Avenue from Summit County. And again, as Mr. Wasowski brought up, these are 3 lots that the village owned and sold several years ago, and the county has acquired title to them again and wishes to gift them to the village.
Question.
Yes.
Is there taxes? Just checking, there's no tax owed on this lot?
No, we're exempt.
Empty lots, okay, we don't,
Paying real
okay,
estate taxes.
okay.
Is there a motion to suspend the 3 reading rule?
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Greenlee, second by Mrs. Bowen. All in favor?
Yes.
All opposed? Is there a motion for passage?
Move for passage.
Motion by Mrs. Greenlee, second by Mr. Hips. Any questions or comments? All in favor of passage?
Yes.
All opposed?
Wages and working. Okay, thank you, Charlie.
Nothing to report today.
Okay, and I have nothing to report either. So we'll move on to the next piece of legislation.
Next is Village of Northfield Ordinance 2014-15, an emergency ordinance establishing Chapter 869 of the codified ordinances relating to secondhand dealers. And this is an ordinance that the police department requested that I prepare to deal with secondhand dealers. There were a couple issues of stolen goods being purchased, and this is to help combat those issues, allow the police department to provide assistance to them in apprehending these people, to mandate that people selling items show ID, and we have the proper records as to who's selling these items, what the items are, and requiring them to hold the items for a period of 14 days before they resell them. My recommendation is that we put this on first reading tonight, proceed with 3 readings on it, and Chief Wentz can have his department distribute the ordinance to the 2 businesses in question. That way they'll have the opportunity to comment on the legislation before it's passed. The police department did sit down with, both businesses when they opened up, went over how they would like things to be handled, and determined that they haven't been handled in that fashion, so we need to make them handle it in that fashion. Again, if the council's fine with it, we'll put it on first reading.
Right.
Again, it's Village of Northfield
Okay.
Ordinance 2014-15, an emergency ordinance establishing Chapter 869 of the codified ordinances relating to secondhand dealers.
Consider the first reading.
This is just preventive, correct? I mean, we don't have a problem with another business in there. This is just a preventive action, correct? I mean, we don't have a problem.
Well, we've had some issues where there's items that have been turned in that should have drawn their attention, that the person bringing them in would not normally have this type of item. And it should have drawn their attention to gather more information on the person, because then within a relatively short amount of time, thefts were reported then to us. These were the very items that were stolen, and in the meantime, they had already discarded them. They had already been sold within days of being brought into the businesses and that. And obviously then there was no record being kept of who bought them. Nothing, so we've asked, when they both set up, we actually had meetings with both of these, the places opened up in the community, where we brought them into the police station and sat them down and said, okay, this is what we want, this is what we need you to do in the way of identification. We want you to maintain it for so many days, and on and on and on, and that, and everyone was agreeable to it. And that, but they aren't following through with it now. So it's kind of like, okay, now we need to put them in the books and we're gonna force their hand.
Okay. very good idea.
Right.
If you're gonna come and sell anything in here, then you're gonna go to the casino, I think that's what the.
Okay. Chief, here's a copy of the.
Yeah, I have.
Mary got back to me, she's gonna get it in there for the
Okay.
screen. She wants to know if anybody's discussed community
Yeah, I know,
glass
that's the
sales
final
this year.
one. I don't know if you-
I was wondering
That would
that.
wanna be in that newsletter, because
Next is Village of Northfield Resolution 2014-17, an emergency resolution confirming the mayor's appointment of Diane Gaycom as an assistant with the village's finance department, sorry. And again, it would be, she would be starting effective April 1st, and just so everyone knows, it would be on a part-time basis. And her hours shall not exceed an average of 28 hours per week. Is there a motion to suspend the free reading rule? Motion by Mrs. Greenlee, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Miladinovich. All in favor?
Yes.
All opposed? Is there a motion for passage?
Move for passage. Second.
Motion by Mrs. Bowen, second by Mrs. Greenlee. Any questions or comments?
Yes, does anyone know if we're actually gonna put two people on the CV? We know if both of those people will be working at the same time. My curiosity is because of the fiscal position we're in right at this point, two of them working together at $45 an hour would be double of what we're paying the finance director currently.
No, they would not be working
It
at
would
the same
probably be
time.
minimal if it
We
were.
are in a situation where we need somebody to do the job. Ms. Ingracia is qualified to do the job. She has a full-time job with the Village of Moreland Hills, and will be doing this, outside of her normal job, and that's why she's working limited amount of hours. And that with the combination of Ms. Gaycom working an average of 28 hours a week during the day to do the day-to-day work, inputting, information in the system, more just routine bookkeeping. We expect Ms. Gaycom to work pretty much the hours, she's her maximum hours. Ms. Ingracia, hopefully will be working less than her maximum amount of hours. But if you put them both together, even assuming Ms. Ingracia will be working, and again, we're going to get to that, I think, I'm gonna ask for that ordinance to be amended to, Ms. Ingracia, originally when we talked, preparing the legislation last week, she's currently working up to 80 hours a month. And we thought that would be fine since she's been extremely busy lately. She thought, at least initially, that, we might need to raise that to 100 hours a month, especially with the budget coming up next month, and just at least at the beginning stages, and then she believes it'll be much less than that. But even if she works the maximum hours, the total of those people, is under $60,000 a year if they would go the full year, which is, approximately what we probably paid. Well, no, it's more than what we would have paid last year, but, still less than what Mr. Rito was making when he was working. The total of those two is less than what he was making by himself.
Thank you.
And again, we need to run the department, while the search takes place. All in favor of passage?
Yes.
All opposed? Next is Village of Northfield Resolution 2014-18, an emergency resolution confirming the mayor's appointment of Patricia LaWalk Ingracia as the interim director of finance. And as I discussed, speaking with Ms. Ingracia today, she thought we may need to raise her maximum maximum work level from 80 to 100 hours, and that, again, would be $2,500 a month if she, reached the maximum amount of the hours. So here's the amended copy. The only difference between this legislation is, and the other one is, instead of 80 in section 1, it states 100 hours. So if, somebody would make a motion to amend, resolution 2014-18 to amend section 1 to indicate not to exceed 100 hours rather than 80 hours.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mrs. Bowen, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Magistrelli. All in favor?
Yes.
All opposed? Is there a motion to suspend the 3 reading rule?
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Greenlee, second by Mr. Hips. All in favor?
Yes.
All opposed? Is there a motion for passage?
I'll make a motion for passage.
Motion by Mr. Vojtish, second by Mrs. Greenlee. Any questions or concerns? All in favor of passage?
Yes.
All opposed? And next is resolution, 2014-19, emergency resolution to make temporary appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the village for the period from April 1st, 2014 through June 30th, 2014. And, as everyone, I think, was made aware, normally the permanent appropriations for 2014 are due to Summit County by March 31st, 2014. We requested and received a 1-month extension to get that permanent appropriation ordinance into Summit County. The reason being, we wanted local government services to finalize the financial statement for 2013. So you guys had those final numbers before you approved the budget for 2014. And again, that is expected no later than the end of next week, possibly even by this coming Monday. So you should have those numbers by the first March meeting, and the appropriation ordinance, what I would expect to have on the agenda for the first meeting in April, would not have to be passed until the second meeting of April. And in order for that to happen, we need to be able to spend money going forward. The temporary appropriation ordinance that was passed in December allowed the village to spend money for the first quarter until the permanent appropriation was done. So this ordinance would extend that for the period of time from April 1st, 2014 through June 30th, 2014. Again, with the full expectation that we would have the permanent budget done by the end of April. Once that happens, this is basically moved the temporary appropriation. And the reason we did it for 3 months is just when you're distilling things down to 1 month, rather than cutting those numbers in the third in case something came up that was a serious major expenditure on an emergency basis, we may not be covered with, the numbers, for 1 month numbers. And again, this doesn't give the mayor the authority to spend any money. Again, council's in charge of spending. You guys have to approve all of the expenditures anyway, but in case something did come up, that way we wouldn't have to pass another amended temporary ordinance. So that's why I did it for 3 months instead of 1 month, and these numbers are the same that are for the numbers for the first quarter, so.
Yeah, exactly the same.
So is there a motion to suspend the 3 reading rule?
So moved. Second.
Motion by Mrs. Greenlee, seconded by Mrs. Bowen. All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
All opposed? Is there a motion for passage?
Move for passage.
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Greenlee, seconded by Mr. Miladinovich. Is there any questions or comments?
Yeah, we definitely still don't know what we have as far as funds go. And the class that I just took down in Columbus, This was one of the issues that was brought up, that we don't know what we have for funding. And, approving a temporary appropriations may not be the correct thing to do at this time, but I do understand that we do need to have this for operating purposes.
And I believe we do know how much money we have, it's just a question of the accounting system doesn't necessarily reflect that
Okay.
today. It will, in a couple days, and we will have final financial statements that are
Okay.
generated by the state auditor's office. We should have full confidence in those numbers. Thank you for that, Mr. Wojcik. All in favor of passage?
Yes.
Yes.
All opposed? That's it for the legislation, Mr. Green.
Thank you.
Mr. Green,
Yes,
well, I'm conversing with Mary
okay.
over the newsletter. She wants a date for
The garage sale.
the garage sales, thinking that being that May's cleanup month, it kind of fits right in. The next newsletter would be going out June 1st, but I was thinking the Memorial Weekend would be the prior weekend to the end of the month.
Mm-hmm.
So May 30th, 31st, and June 1st being garage sale weekend, like right there.
That would be fine.
That way
Friday,
you have all
Saturday.
month to clean up and then sell what you don't wanna throw out.
Which 3 weekends now?
One weekend, Gary, it'd be,
30th, 31st, and 1st.
yeah, May 30th, 31st, and 1st. Does that sound,
That sounds good.